Hey everybody, welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet. We've got another Transformers review coming your way. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe-Class Insecticon Bombshell. So as we always do, let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging first. And we'll start right up here, and you have parents, and you have your little graph there if you want to read it. You've got some artwork right here, Insecticon Bombshell, Deluxe-Class. Over here, you've got some artwork for your visual enjoyment. On the back, you have Transformers up top, Insecticon Bombshell, the Evo Fusion. You can plug his guns in together. It's pretty exciting. He converts 13 steps. And then you have the sad baby down there with all of his warnings. And the baby is sad because the baby has an innate fear of insects. So over here, you have some more artwork, close-up of that head, and then a nice pose right there. Down low, you have all that information if you care to read it. So that is it for the box. Let's go ahead and get that thing out of the way, and let's talk about everything that came inside of it. Behold, laid out here before you is everything that came with a Bombshell, and we'll start over here. You have your little sheet of warnings, then you have your sheet of instructions, and you are left with these three accessories that we see here. So we're just going to start with these two little guys right here. Now they're the exact same thing, so I'm just going to put one off to the side, and then we'll concentrate on this guy. So these are kind of his little arm guns that also double as his legs when he's in his Insecticon mode or insect mode. So nothing too exciting here, just black molded plastic. You do have blast effect compatibility, so you can plug them in and pew pew all you want. So there is that, just nothing too exciting here. And then he comes with his main pistol. So this is painted in silver, kind of hollow on this side, kind of hollow on this side. Little bit of sculpt work on there, nothing too exciting. Same thing as his little arm guns as far as I'm concerned, as the excitement level. You do have blast effect compatibility there, however, so that is a good thing. But yeah, there you go. And that covers it. That is everything that he comes with, so we're just going to jump right on in and start looking at this guy up close. Here he is, that evil arthropod we've all been waiting to see. This is the Insecticon Bombshell. So let's go ahead and bring him in and take a close look at this guy. And we're going to start right up here with his helmet. I don't know what the right terminology would be to call this thing, but yeah, he's basically got a gun head as you would expect from Bombshell. So got some detail there. Now this is kind of a soft ratchet on this, so you can change that at different angles if you care to do so. Then you got some silver and you've got that gold right there, and I'm going to go ahead and get it out of the way so we can look at the rest of his head. So there is his face, and then you've got the rest of his head right there. Take that for what you will. And then coming on down to the chest. I think the chest looks pretty good here. I like the purples. I like the gold, kind of that translucent. I swear this thing looks like it opens because you even have a pin right there. So it looks like this chest would open up much like the original Bombshell did. But I have not figured out a way to do it, and I'm not going to damage my figure trying to figure it out. So if anybody knows, let me know in the comments. I would really like to know whether or not that opens. But coming on down, you've got a fairly nondescript lower body. Not a lot going on here. You've got a little bit of sculpt work in the crotch. You've got a couple little bits on the legs right there. Everything is black. Everything is gray. You got some sculpt work there on the legs. Inside the legs don't look too bad. He does a good job of keeping all of his hollow areas pretty much to the back. So I'll give him that. And then down here, those feet, you could have used a little bit more paint there. Something right on that strip. That would have, I think, helped to set him off. Let's put his helmet back in the proper method. And then there's your side view. So you can see no backpack of which to speak, which is always a plus in my book. And let's get that arm out of the way. Take a look here. So you've got a red stripe going down that side of the leg. Little bit of sculpt work here. Nothing exciting. He is solid all the way through. Another plus. So I do like that. Taking a look at those arms. You've got some decent amount of sculpt work there. There's his insect leg, and then some sculpt work there. His big old fist, and then on the inside you've got that hollow area where those fists fold in. Would have been nice to have had a panel right there, but hey, he's a deluxe class figure with a deluxe class price point, so we get what we get. Now here he is from the back. This is the least impressive part. He cleans up fairly well. I think from a silhouette standpoint, I think this works, but man, he is riddled with hollow back here. So, you know, it's not the prettiest. You can see a lot of hollow back there. You do have a little bit of sculpt work. And then you've got this little guy right up here. We'll flip that up. There we go. And then you do have a spot right there if you want to use a 3mm flight stand. A little bit of splash of paint right there. It's more noticeable in the insect mode than it is in the bot mode. But you do have some areas, 5mm ports for some blast effects that you can use on this guy if you care to do so. But yeah, definitely looks better from the front than he does from the back. Overall, in my opinion, I think he looks good. He's not great. But he's not bad. I don't think he matches up to the other two Decepticons, to Shrapnel and Kickback. He does not look as good, in my opinion. But again, that is just my opinion. Yours may vary, and that's fine. So let's go ahead and jump into the articulation. Man, where'd I go? I blinked out for a second. Let's go ahead and jump into the articulation on this guy. And we're going to start right up here with his head. Now, you can't do a lot with the head. I'm going to count this as articulation. You can move this, and you can move it there, and then you can move the helmet completely out of the way and take it that far back if you want to, and then you've got just that naked head. Now, this entire thing right here, this is an assembly, so you're not going to get any up or down or the head tilt. You're just going to get side-to-side motion, and you're not even going to get a full 360. Even if you have this closed up all the way, all you're going to get is this range of motion right there. So you're going to be able to look right that far, left that far, and then you're done. So, use it wisely because that's all you get. All right, moving on to the shoulders. So you can get the shoulders up. You can see how those arms will get out of your way. You can keep them like that if you want, or bring them out. It's up to you. But if you have them like that and you raise those shoulders up, those will get out of your way. So you can take the shoulders up that far. You can go all the way around. Nice tight joints right there. And then on the elbow, you're going to get just over 90, and then you got a bicep rotation right there. And then as far as the hands go, the only thing you're going to do is flip those in, so no wrist rotation there. You do have waist rotation, so you can take it all the way around if you choose to. Down here at the hips, you've got a pretty good range of motion here. I'm going to almost give him a Bombshell Van Damme. So good splits as far as that goes. And then kicking forward, you're going to kick forward that far. Kicking backward, you're going to kick backward that far. So great range of motion as far as those hips go. Thigh rotation is right up here. And then as far as those knees go, you're going to get 90 degrees on those. And then coming down to the feet are a little funky. Number one, this is kind of a heel spur, but it's not long enough. So he does have a tendency sometimes to get a little back heavy and want to fall backwards on you. But the feet, you do get ankle tilt. So all this comes together as one. And you're going to get that much ankle tilt out of it, so nowhere near close to what you get as far as the splits. So it's hard to get this guy in a nice dance move. You don't get anything as far as the heel goes, but in regards to the toe, you can bring the toe that far down, and this is a tight enough joint that it'll hold the weight, so you can use that if you want to, and then it just comes right back up to there. So that's as high up as it goes, that's as down low as it goes, and that's as much as the ankle goes. So you can do basically that. He does kind of look like he's getting down. He's on the dance floor. He's having himself a good time. I think that looks pretty good. So now we'll go ahead and just jump into the accessories. Not a lot to talk about here. We're not going to spend a great deal of time on it, but you're going to take the little underarm guns, and you're literally going to do that. Now, obviously, you can put these anywhere. There's a 5mm port on Bombshell, but per the directions, you're going to plug them in right here. And then the other one is going to go right here. And then you have underarm guns like that. So, yeah, is it the most exciting thing? Not really, but it gets the job done. They double as his insect legs. So, there you go. All right, now the pistol is exactly what you would expect a pistol to be. And there's not going to be anything too exciting here either. Yeah, you're just going to plug it in and look at that. Now, ooh, wow, he's flying. But yeah, so there you have Bombshell with all of his accessories on. Yes, you could go buck wild with this guy. He's not fully loaded with blast effect areas, but you can certainly use some. You've got spots down here. I'm not going to celebrate it on this guy. I think you get the gist, but yeah, you've got spots down here where you can plug those in, have him flying. You've got spots on the back where you can plug some stuff in. You've got, of course, the underarm spots. You have all of these weapons have blast effect compatibility, so that is one thing that I do want to see because it's kind of fun. I'm going to use the Ultra Magnus blast effects that we got with that Commander class, and put your arm down. It's a tight joint. Put your arm down. There you go. That's kind of cool. So you can definitely have that going on. So that's good fun right there. I do like that. And now I have to know. Sorry. Just fast forward if you need to. Just plug that in. Plug that in. And one more. Plug that in. Oh no, he's pointing it right at us. That's not good range rules, sir. And there you oh no, it's droopy. There you go. Oh no, he's top heavy. Alright, there you go. I'll hold it. Yeah, there you go. You can have some fun with the guy. Ooh, stay. Alright. Yeah, so there you go. Blast effect compatibility definitely adds a layer of fun to this guy, no doubt about it. But the overall accessories are, you know, they're fine. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get those off of there. So that covers your details, articulation, and accessories. Let's go ahead and jump right into that transformation. So the first thing that we're going to do to get Bombshell into his insect mode is I'm just going to go ahead and cover that face up. So you've got this tab right here, you've got that slot right there. It is a bit of a press fit, especially with the paint, so you will notice that the paint is going to come off after a bit, but just going to take that and give that a nice push in there. The instructions say that it gives you a soft click. I have yet to get a soft click. It's just a push, and there you go. And then you can straighten his little, what will eventually become his nose out right there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these hands, I'm going to flip these hands in just like that, and then I'm going to rotate the arm so the insect legs are on the same plane. They're all facing each other like that. And do the same thing over here. Rotate those out. Just going to keep those arms out just a little bit like that. And then if this isn't already flipped up, go ahead and flip it up. Sometimes it's down like that. Just flip it up. And then you're going to take these insect arms or the robot arms and you're going to bring them back right there, and then they're just going to soft click in place for you right there. Do the same thing over here. I'm just going to leave them up like this for now so they're out of my way, because the next thing I'm going to do is rotate my waist 180 degrees. And once I've rotated the waist, and obviously the legs are now backwards, you're just going to need to get in here and flip these panels up right here and bring your feet down. After you've done that, now you can break this leg, so you're going to pull that apart and you can see what's happening right there, and that's on a double hinge. So now you're just going to bring this down as such, and you're going to collapse those legs in just like that, and then push that in. You'll hear the click. Alright, so the same thing over here. Just open this panel up, bring the foot down and behind the knee, just loosen that up. Bring that down on a double hinge, collapse all that up, and then come up here. You're going to put these two together, so you've got a couple tabs, couple slots in there. Give those a squeeze, and then right here, you've got these two tabs right there, and if you look right up under there, you've got those two slots that it's going to slide right into. So make sure you've got good waist alignment there, and then give that a push, and put those right in those slots. And you should have something just like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is, and our last step, is taking these arms and we're just going to tuck them under right here. So a couple things to note. You have, I hope I'm catching it, you have a slot right there, and then right up under here you've got a little slot, and then you've got a tab and a tab. So what I've done, what I've learned to do, is I come down here and I make sure that I align this bottom slot first, get that in the leg, and then push that one in and give that a little bit of a squeeze, and then you should have something that looks like that. So the same thing over here. So I'm going to get this one in and then bring that one in just like that, and make sure I got my legs straightened out, straighten out my nose, and that's it. There you have Bombshell in his insect mode. Now that we have Bombshell in his Insecticon mode, I figured I would just throw him on the turntable so we could get a nice 360-degree unobstructed view of him in his insect mode. And yeah, I mean, it gets the job done. It's not the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I think, personally, for me, he's the weakest out of the three Insecticons for the Legacy line. But, hey, he's still pretty good. But yeah, so I just wanted to have him on that turntable before we brought him in for his close-up in this mode, so that way you could get a nice look at him and kind of see the underside of him and that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and get that turntable out of the way, and we'll bring Bombshell in for his close-up and look at his details there. And now it's time to go ahead and bring him in for his close-up. We will start, as we always do, with the front. So there you can see his proboscis, nose, whatever you call it, the front of the bug. And it's all painted silver there. Nothing we didn't already see in bot mode. Coming around to the side, you can see how those arms fold in, and you've got that nice yellow there with that purple. There's that stripe going down the side. Not a lot of detail here, but you do have a little bit of sculpt work going on in there. Coming around to the back. Yeah, it's the back. Don't know what else to say, but there it is. And coming around to the side. There he is, just like the other side. Here he is from the top. And here he is from the bottom. So it all hides away pretty well. Obviously, I think these are robot legs. You can kind of see that. Everything else kind of hides away well enough. Get a little peek of the head in there so you can see some eyes. But nothing that absolutely detracts from the overall bot mode. These blues look nice up here with those golds. You do have kind of those horned areas back there to give him a slightly more organic look. But yeah, I mean, like I say, for me, he's the weakest of the three Insecticons, but he still gets the job done, and it's certainly nice to have him in the collection. So as far as articulation goes in this mode, there's not a lot. Not a lot you would normally do anyway. You can move this around, so you can have it pointed up that far. You can have it pointed down that far. You can move those little insect arms down that far, up that far. You can wiggle these around if you want, but I wouldn't know why you would want to. You've got a little bit of motion with those feet, not a lot. And that pretty much sums it up. There's not much else you're going to do with this guy in his insect mode, so you can have that pointed up. Obviously, you can use blast effects on this guy, so the most prominent one would be right there on the tip of that proboscis. And then you can, of course, bring his weapon in, talking about accessories here. Nothing special that you can really do here. He doesn't have anything on the underside. I'm a fan of symmetry, so it would have been nice if they would have had something like that. But you have your options. You can plug it in here, here, kind of here, or kind of here. And there you go. So then, you know, you can bring a blast effect in for that one. And, you know, if you wanted to have a couple of blast effects on the backside, you could do that as well. Just trying to gather my blast effects up over here. So if you wanted to do something like this, you know, you totally could. Go for it. So there you go. You've got some playability here. I don't think it's quite as much as what you have in bot mode. Of course, you do also have that ability to plug some blast effects into his weapon as well, if you want to do that, or plug it in on this side and then have him taking a hit right here. So you can do things. Things can be done. So that's entirely up to you. He's just not all that exciting for me in this mode, and that's okay. So with that, that pretty much covers everything for the insect mode or his alt mode. So let's go ahead and jump into those comparisons. For our first alt mode comparison, we're just going to go ahead and get started with that OG. So this is the G1 Insecticon Bombshell. Next up, to give you a sense of scale here, and also because I never did a review for this guy, and I really wish I would have, this is the Voyager-class Legacy Inferno. And for our final alt mode comparison, here we see Bombshell hanging out with his buddies. This is, of course, in the middle, Legacy Kickback, and over here you have Legacy Shrapnel. So those Legacy Insecticons are finally complete, and as a group, they sure do look good. I still stand firm on, I think Bombshell is the weakest of the group. However, as a trio here, these guys look great. That's going to do it for the alt mode comparison, so let's get Bombshell transformed back into his bot mode. So the first thing that we're going to do is get those arms disconnected from this panel right here. So you're just going to give those a pull and bring those up, and you'll take those right out of those slots. Just have those angled up kind of out of your way like that. Then we're going to focus on these legs down here. So you're just going to use your hand here and pull all that out, and you've got those two little tabs right there that will come right out with those. And then if you want, go ahead and split the legs now. You can do it now, you can do it later. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. But once we got those legs split, now we're just going to bring these legs up on those double hinges, just like that. We're going to push those in until we hear that click. And then we're going to push this panel forward until we hear the click there, and then bring that foot out. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to bring that down and push to the click. It was a soft click on that one, but it was there. Do it again. And then bring that panel, close that up, bring that foot out, and then you can take this waist assembly and rotate it 180 degrees so everything's pointed the right way. And you'll notice that he needs some arms up here now. So all you need to do in that case is, if you want to bring those arms down now, you can. Then bring those forward till you feel that soft click right there. And then the instructions say to flare these out, so go ahead and do that. Rotate the arms 90 degrees outward, and then grab those hands and flip those out. Do the same thing over here. Bring that arm down, bring it out, rotate it around, and then pull the hand out just like that. And then the big reveal, of course, is the head. So all you're going to do is give this a crank right there. Now, up to you how you want to have this. Fold this little guy down here too. But up to you how you want to have this. If you want to have it all the way back and have this down, you can do that. If you want to have it up, you can do that. If you want to leave it right here, like that, up to you. So, but all that being said, we are now done, and Bombshell is back in his bot mode. For our first comparison, here we see that Legacy Bombshell next to the OG. This is the G1 Insecticon Bombshell. For another insect point of comparison, here we see Bombshell next to that Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Waspinator. And last but certainly not least, here we see Bombshell with his two buddies. As stated earlier, in the middle is Legacy Kickback, and over here is Legacy Shrapnel. And yeah, to have the set complete and to see these three guys together is really cool. I think they all look really good together, no doubt about it. That's going to do it for the bot mode comparison, so let's go ahead and get into those final thoughts. So there we have the Transformers Legacy Insecticon Bombshell. And although this guy is not my favorite Insecticon out of the three, I still think that he's a really fun figure, and you can do all kinds of really cool stuff with him, as noted here. But let's go ahead and jump into it and quantify this guy a little bit, and we're going to start with the overall looks, the aesthetic of the figure. I do like the color scheme. He keeps that consistent with the rest of the Insecticon group, so those purples and blacks look really good together. He is, unfortunately, a little hollow in certain areas, and that's kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen some panels in certain places, but you know, it's a deluxe class figure, so we're going to get what we get, I guess. Bot mode is definitely the stronger of the two modes, in my opinion. His alt mode, I don't know. It just doesn't really do it for me. I don't feel as excited for Bombshell in his alt mode as I do the other two Insecticons, but overall I think he gets the job done for this price point for a deluxe class figure, so I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for the aesthetics. Moving on to the articulation, you know, he's really good everywhere except for where it counts, in my opinion. He's got really limited head movement. That makes posing really difficult here, so in this circumstance with this pose, you got to kind of have him leaned back a little bit because he can't look up. So that's a bit of a problem. He can't have those quizzical head tilt poses either. So you're relegated to, you know, maybe 30 degrees left, 30 degrees right, maybe 40 degrees, either way, but nowhere near enough head movement, in my opinion. He also could have used a lot more ankle tilt. So you're going to max out his ankle tilt before you get to the edges of that hip split. So that's kind of unfortunate. Additionally, because you have to lean him back a little bit, the lack of a heel spur does hurt. He can have a tendency to get top heavy on you and back heavy, so you're just going to have to be careful with that and watch that. I think articulation everywhere else is done really well. You get waist rotation, you get plenty of movement in the shoulders and the elbows and the knees. Just really miss it in those feet and in that head. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for articulation. Moving on to the accessories, yeah, they're okay. they don't excite me. He's got that silver pistol that looks really good. I'm not going to count this as an accessory, but it does have blast effect compatibility, which is really cool. The underarm guns are, yeah, they get the job done. They're just black molded plastic. They have blast effect compatibility, so that is a feather in their cap for sure, but everything else, it's just meh. Doesn't get me overly excited. I would have liked to have seen something more here. I just don't know what it would be, but it just doesn't get me overly excited. So feeling generous because this is an original mold, except for a few parts borrowed here and there, but the overall design is original. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Moving on to quality, this is his strength for sure. This figure has very high quality overall. You know, the everything tabs in the way it should. I don't have any issues with the mold itself. I don't have any paint application issues. Came with everything that he was supposed to. All the joints are tight. The only thing that I could really complain about a little bit would be maybe those bicep joints. They're a little on the loose side. Nothing real bad, but everything else on this guy is nice and tight and does everything that it's supposed to do. So I'm going to give him high marks for quality here. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. So, coming to our final bullet, which is overall value. This figure I picked up in the wild. It was the MSRP of $25 US. I picked this guy up at a local Target here in North America. So, yeah, the MSRP is what it is. I think in comparison to the other Insecticons, I don't think Bombshell brings as much value to the table as the other two guys. There's just something missing here. I just don't know what it is. So I'm going to beat him up a little bit on overall value here, and I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. So that brings us to our grand total. Out of a possible 50 points, Legacy Bombshell gets 39 out of 50, and it puts him at 78%. Now that kind of sounds like a low score, and yes, it is kind of a low score, but it's really just because he's meh in a couple of areas. This is not a bad figure. This is definitely one that you're going to want to get if you collect those Insecticons. Even as a standalone figure, he's perfectly fine. This is just not a figure that I got overly excited about. He does the job, and I'll put it that way. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and enthusiastically recommend that you pick this figure up. I would say that if you can find him and you like the Insecticons, this is one you'll want to pick up. But realistically, this is probably a take it or leave it kind of figure. So with that, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys got some good information. I hope you got some entertainment out of this. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you feel like it. I don't get to the comments anywhere near as much as I wish I would, but I do try to read them as often as possible, and I will respond if time allows at some point here in the near future. Also, if you know of anyone who likes the channel, likes what we do here, please be sure to share this video, share this channel with them. It's always fun to see the community grow. So with that, that's going to wrap it up until we see you guys in the next review. Take care.